Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and I'm still in recovery from surgery, but I thought I'd take a look at one of the articles I read recently and basically how we can better price 3D prints if you do decide to start selling. So let's go ahead and get started. I recently found this article, Refined Cost Calculation Framework for FDM Parts, and I thought it was pretty interesting. In the article, rather than just look at material costs and electrical costs, it's trying to break down the whole cost process into a variety of steps. Now, if I scroll down here, we can take a look at this methodology, and I realize this probably I need to zoom in a little bit more. So they're breaking this down into machine costs, tooling costs, and then a little bit of work, material and model costs, then labor costs. So they're actually trying to factor in quite a lot here. And this includes like a machine cost and energy cost, both of which you can find if I know how much my machine costs. I can capture that. Usually you can look up your electrical rates. If I look at this carefully, you'll notice that I can also get a nozzle cost. In some cases with that nozzle cost, you're looking at wear and tear on it, build sheet cost, and then anything else that's needed to refine the model to come out with a final product. And so this is a little bit, again, more complicated than most people use to come up with the price, but at least in my case, this seems fairly accurate and you can get really good results. Now, the one problem with this model is the fact because there's so many different inputs, it's hard to keep it all straight. And I started to put together a spreadsheet to help myself figure out how much things could cost. And that turned into, rather than a spreadsheet, into a cost calculator. So what I've done is create a cost calculator that you can use to generate a quote and save the quote, both as a internal document as well as a PDF you could send to somebody. Now, it's not perfect, and I'm still testing and adding features, but let me switch over and show you that. So to access the tools, you're going to go to my website, which is minimal3dp.com, and then look for the M3DP Tools menu item. If you click on that, you'll see the 3D print cost calculator. Click on that, and you can sit here and start setting your job parameters. So right now, just with this default piece, it costs $5.66 in US. Now, we can sit here and make some changes. So I'm just going to type in a business name and call this 801 Main Street. And then I'm just going to say it's for an enclosure. So I can then sit here and start filling in the sheet. Now, right now, I have this set for 1 part per build plate. Let me change that to 2. And I'm going to change the print time to 8 hours. Material cost. Let me open up a model and we'll add in the actual cost. I've loaded in a piece here that is for a Soval SV08 top hat. And we can see I've sliced it, and here are the parameters: total filament versus model filament, and that's in grams, print time, and other information we might need. Now this is estimating $3.32 for the cost of the model based on the filament I'm using. Now with my cost calculator, I can get much more in depth. So let's change this back to 1 piece, and I'm just going to model this exactly as this is showing up. So the total filament is, well, let's do the model filament, 163.88. So let's go over here and type in 168.33. The support material cost, and this does break it down. I'm just going to go up here and take a look at the filament usage. And let's see if this actually tells me, because somewhere here it should tell me, and there it is, 2.11 grams. So let's go over here. Now, really for this model, it doesn't matter, but in some cases, I might have a model where I'm using two different materials for the support versus the model. Now I'm going to go down here and change this to ASA. And I think I paid about $20 for this roll of filament. And it has the properties here. Support material, I'm going to change that back to same and keep that as ASA. Now, in my case, I don't like this labor rate of $20 an hour. I'm tempted to say 100, but I'm just going to put 50. And I'll put the slicing and prep time at 10 minutes, and then my machine setup just 5 minutes. Now, I have all that filled in. I'm going to point out this feature as well. I do have it set up if there's a failure rate on my machine. Now, right now, I haven't had any of these prints fail, so I'm just going to bump that down to 1%. If I have that higher, that helps me if I do have failures where their price is still being covered as well. So let's scroll down. If I wanted to add a material, I can add it here. I don't need to. The machine I'm using is a Creality K2 Plus. I'm just going to estimate $1,200. I'm going to say the lifespan of the printer is 20,000 hours. But that's sort of a guess. Maintenance cost, I'll say it's 10 cents an hour. I have my average power, my kilowatt per hour. I've put my build plate cost and my estimated build plate lifespan. And again, this is sort of a guess, but I did find in the research that 5,000 plus hours was good for a PEI sheet if I took care of it. Nozzle cost. Now, in the case of the K2 Plus, this is more like $20, so I'm going to bump that up. Lifespan, right now I'm not using any filament that's abrasive. I'm just going to say 25 kilograms, or better yet, let's just change that to 10. Down here, support nozzle costs, it's the same nozzle, so I don't need to worry about it. Don't need to worry about this number. Now, post-processing, now this is finishing labor. I'm going to say it's going to take me 15 minutes to take off the support and material, and that's build plate. Don't need to worry about that. Solvent cost, if I'm using a solvent to get rid of the supports, I have that. I can add a markup cost if I want to basically add something to this value here. And then down here I have some references of what I found in the research for the average lifespan of nozzles, the nozzle reference size. So again, you could sort of take a look at that. And then I have the references I used overall for this model. Now, I can go over here. I have my price. I'm saying I'm going to charge $30 for this part. I can generate a quote and then print this out. And I should just be able to go up here and hit print. And this should let me save it as PDF. Now, hopefully you found this helpful. Like I said, I'm still testing this, so if anybody has any suggestions or sees any needed changes, let me know. If there's costs that I'm not picking up, I'd be interested in that as well. Now, I should point out with the calculator that here at the top, I give you the ability to save your settings. So let me just put test and enclosure again. And I'm going to save that. And if I hit refresh, I can come back and load those settings. Now everything's saved on your machine, this all client side. I don't see anything. It's not saving anything to the server. Hopefully you found this useful. If you have any questions or comments or suggested improvements, or you see an error, please let me know. I look forward to talking to you again soon.